Hello, everyone. Very excited to be here. I am very excited to be here on TikTok, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. It's been a long time. I haven't been live in a while. So today we are going to discuss some very important topics in US immigration as usual. We'll be discussing mainly whether you could get a green card if you come into the US on a visitor's visa. That's a question I get sometimes. Whether you could switch from a visitor's visa or a B2 visa to become a lawful permanent resident. So guys, join in as you know, and as soon as you join, please do well to share. Let me tilt this a little bit. Please do well to share this live video because this could contain some great information that someone in your network may use. I'm so excited to be back on here, guys. Drop me an emoji of the US flag if you can hear me and see me very well. Please drop me the emoji so we can get started with the business of the day. For some reason, okay, have figured it out. I wanted to get to the chat to the chat button. I see the Instagrammers dropping their emojis as usual. Instagram is a whole mood. Please drop TikTokers. TikTok, drop your emojis. Let me make sure you guys can see me on all the platforms on LinkedIn, on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. If you can see me, drop that emoji, an emoji of the US flag or whatever um country you're connecting from. You can drop that flag, but you can also drop the flag of the USA, and then we can get started. Okay, so excited to be back. Okay, so guys, let me just jump on. Let's get into the topic for the day so that I stop rambling on and on about how excited I am to be back on here. It has been a very, very crazy last few months or last few weeks. So forgive my absence, but I've been doing a lot of videos nonetheless. I've just not been able to do the live videos. So the question is, if you come into the United States, I'm sorry, excuse me, if you come into the United States as a visitor and you have been issued a B2 visa, can you become a green card holder? Can you switch to lawful permanent residency from um, your visa status? And the answer is it depends. It depends. It depends. But yes, you generally can. You generally can. If you come in on a visitor's visa, you can, depending on a number of factors, that we'll be looking at in this video. A number of factors that we'll be looking at in this video to determine whether you ultimately can do that. Okay. So number one, if you come into the US on a B2 visitors visa, you guys already know the B2 visitors visa is a temporary visa. You are coming in temporarily. They will normally issue you with a 5-year visa. And in some countries, they could even issue you with a 10-year visa, US visitors visa. But you cannot come into the US on a 5-year visa and stay for 5 years continuously. Then that means you're coming in as a lawful permanent resident, right? Because 5 years, that means you're a resident. But the visitor's visa, even though it's issued for 5 years, of course, for administrative reasons, usually when you are coming into the airport, they will give you a maximum of a 6-month stay. So you have a 5-year visa, but you have multiple entry, and at each time you enter, you may be given about 6 months. 6 months. Okay, so you can stay in for as long as 6 months. If you want to stay beyond the 6-month period, you have to file or you petition for an extension of your visa. in order to be able to stay longer than you have been allowed to stay. So once you come into the US on a B2 visa, your clock starts ticking. You have generally 6 months. For some people, if the CBP officer, the Customs and Border Protection officer, or the customs officer that you meet at immigration, if they don't trust what you're saying, or they don't feel like this person, he seems like he wants to come and work, I'm not too sure, then they could give you even a 1 month stay. Your visa will be 5 years, all right, which could expire, let's say, in 2028. You've been issued a visa July 2028. I'm sorry, July 2023, and it will expire July 2028. However, if you are entering, even though you have that 5 year visa that's valid, you could be given just a 1 month period of authorized stay, meaning you have to leave the US by August 21st or whatever, right? So you're coming in on the US, you could be given a 6 month stay, maximum 6 month stay. Now, once you come in, depending on who the petitioner is, you can obviously do something known as an adjustment of status. Once you come in, if you get married to a US citizen, or you get married to a green card holder, and then they petition for you, then you could file an adjustment of status. Please beware, if you get married to a green card holder, there are things you have to consider. With green card holders, you have to still be in lawful status, lawful non-immigrant status, on the date on which your application is received by USCIS. For US citizens, there's no such rule. If your US citizen spouse, husband or wife, is the one petitioning for you, then you could have overstayed for 10 years, 100 years, 50 years, 30 years. The US government will potentially forgive you for that visa violation. Okay, because obviously you should not overstay the terms of your status. But if you overstay and you find a US citizen that you are married to, then that could work. On the other hand, if you get married to a green card holder, then the dynamics are different. You have to be in status before they can file an adjustment for you. You have to look at the visa bulletin to see if there's an immigrant visa available for your case in order to submit the green card application, or the adjustment of status application. Okay, so yes, you can totally switch from a B2 visa to a lawful permanent resident status, status. But there are a few things you have to be aware of. Now, one of the main things, guys, I'm going to be reading your comments soon. Akosia, thank you so much. I saw Akosia sent me a heart on TikTok. Thank you very, very much. One of the things we have to be mindful of is, I get those queries all the time. Somebody says, oh, my mother is a US citizen and I am 30 years old. I'm here in the US. I've overstayed my B2 visa. Can my mother file an immigrant visa petition for me? Yes, your mother can, but unfortunately, you may not be able to stay in the US to get your green card. You would normally have to depart and get the green card from your country. And once you depart, depending on how long you've overstayed, the bars will kick in. If you've overstayed your visa for more than 6 months, but less than a year, a 3-year bar kicks in once you leave. If you have overstayed your visa for more than 1 year, then a 10-year bar will kick in once you leave. And you have to file waivers if you qualify for those waivers in order to be able to come back into the US. So those things are very complex. Now, there are two types of categories. We have the immediate relative category, and then we have the preference immigrant category. If your family member, that's the US citizen who's filing for you, is your spouse, is your child above 21 years old, or your son or daughter above 21 years old, or is your child above 21 years old, or is your spouse, husband or wife, then your overstay can potentially be forgiven. If it's any other person, then it becomes a challenge, and there are strategies to making sure that you do the right thing without any problems. Okay. So let me take some questions. We won't talk too much. I see Sheila asked a very important question on Instagram. She said, Sheila says, please, can I travel Can I travel with a child with special needs to the US as a visitor? Yes, you can. Absolutely can. I'm not sure what's going on with the child, depending on how complex their medical issues are. You know, um, it depends, but I don't see any problem with it unless there are some special considerations which I may not be aware of. So contact me and then I can have a one-on-one conversation with you, because we've actually, we've helped a lot of people who have medical needs, children, and sometimes they come into the US on a visitor's visa and they want to seek medical, they want medical attention for their children. Depending on the complexity of the medical needs of the children, we have had to file extensions of stay and sometimes something known as a medical deferred process, and that allows you to continue to stay in the US despite the fact that you may be out of status because of the medical needs of your child. So yeah, contact me and then we can see how we can answer the question more appropriately. AD on TikTok says, what if you worked without authorization but married a US citizen and filed tax? I tell you guys all the time, if you are, you know, applying and let's say you've violated the terms of your immigrant status, because obviously you're a B2 visa holder, you do not have B2 visa holders cannot work in the US, right? You cannot do official jobs. Of course, there are people that work under the table, they do odd jobs here and there to make some money. Once you are caught, that's a problem, because that means you're violating the terms of your immigrant status and your visa could be revoked or whatnot. But the practicality of the matter is that once people come in on B2 visas, some do violate their status. Now, when you file, if your husband or your wife applies for an immigrant visa for you, and they find out that you've worked without authorization, they will generally forgive that issue. They'll generally forgive that issue, but contact us so that we can look at your situation somewhere and try to help you where you need the help. More of me on TikTok says, my husband is going to naturalize and my F1 visa is expired and I'm in the US. Will it be a problem? No. If your husband is going to naturalize, means he's going to apply for US citizenship. So once he applies for US citizenship, then he could potentially file for you to also get a green card, despite your overstay, despite the fact that you are no longer in lawful student status. Your student visa, your CVS record has obviously been terminated, and so you are out of status. That's fine. One caveat I'll give, and I tell my clients, is that if you are out of status and you are filing an immigrant visa application, best believe that it's great to have an immigration attorney such as myself. Make sure that we review your case for you and submit a good case on your behalf. Because what happens is that once you've overstayed your visa, then you are no longer in a period of authorized stay. And so if you file any petition to USCIS or US Immigration and your case is denied, then you risk them putting you in removal or deportation proceedings, or putting you in immigration court, or opening a case against you in immigration court. And because once you get in immigration court, it becomes a whole new hassle trying to get out, trying to get your case out of immigration court. Because once you've overstayed your case and you file an immigrant visa petition and it's denied, then they can pick you up. Obviously they can, because you are no longer in a period of authorized stay. Obviously, the thing is, they are just usually very overwhelmed and backlogged, and they just have too many things to worry about, that if it's just a minor overstay, they may not come into your house to come and arrest you or whatnot, unless you've done something really crazy. But your case could still be forwarded to immigration courts for removal proceedings, and you're going to spend tens and thousands of dollars just trying to get out of that situation. So if you have overstayed the visa that you are on in the United States and you want to take any step, please make sure you consult with me. We'll do a case evaluation and then we will help you to make sure that your case does not trigger scrutiny or extra scrutiny, and your case is not denied and that will put the jeopardy of your status in the US. That will put your status in jeopardy. Okay, so please, and I tell people all the time, if you are going to submit any document about yourself to the US government, you best believe have an attorney review that. Sometimes you might think you understand what you're doing until you are hit with something and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize it from that perspective. So I was doing a case evaluation for a potential client yesterday, and she came into the US, guys. She came into the US to come and deliver a baby. She came in on a B2 visitors visa. And when she came in, she took Medicaid. You know, that is like some sort of insurance, like some free healthcare, pretty much. But Medicaid is just financial assistance for medical bills for residents of the US. If you are a green card holder, lawful permanent resident, or if you're even undocumented and you're here in the US, Medicaid can cover your medical bills. And so if you are heavily pregnant, you come in on a B2 visa, and then you give birth and then take public assistance, like financial assistance from the US government, then that becomes a problem. And she was saying that, okay, she saw from on the paperwork that they said, oh, you know, they will not send your information to the government, and, you know, you can take Medicaid, don't worry, they won't report it and all of that. So that's why she took the Medicaid. And I was telling her that I told the potential client during the consult that, listen, every law has its intent. Some of those statements, you know, so whatever law that comes out, Congress makes the laws, right? And they have the intent. If you look at the Federal Register, sometimes it will tell you the reasoning behind the law and things like that. And I told her the reason they put those type of statements is pretty much to cater to people who are undocumented in the US, and they are sometimes the undocumented people, they may not be given good jobs. So sometimes, you guys know, an undocumented person could perhaps be working with somebody else's documents, and once they are paid, the money goes into that person's bank account, and that person will take some of the money. So by the time the money trickles down to the undocumented person, they just have just a little bit, right? They don't have too much money. So the government will provide some of this assistance through Medicaid to help you. If you are pregnant and then you can't pay your medical bills, then Medicaid is there to save you. Now, the issue is that when people are undocumented, they're afraid that, look, if I go use Medicaid, they may go and report me that I'm undocumented, and they'll come and arrest me. The US government will come and arrest me. And people would actually sometimes have babies at home, and sometimes they're even in crisis, medical emergencies, but because they are undocumented, they say, no, don't call 911 because I don't have papers. They will arrest me. So those kind of disclaimers that are issued on those documents are just to make sure that undocumented people feel safe to seek medical assistance when they need to. You don't risk giving birth at home without an epidural or without, you know, doctors or OBGYNs just because you're afraid that you're going to get deported. It's not relevant at that point. At that point, the mother's life, the baby's life is, you know, the baby's life, those lives are paramount. And so your immigration status should not matter. You need to get to the hospital, get Medicaid if you need to. So those type of things are meant for people to reassure those type of people. So you who has coming on a B2 visa and giving birth using Medicaid, that statement does not apply to you like Medicaid. Well, obviously, they want to make sure that you are also healthy and you don't worry that they'll report you. But it's really targeted more to the undocumented people. Because, in fact, when you're coming in on a B2 visitors visa and you're coming to deliver, you need to make sure that you have the money to pay those bills. That's what the law says. I'm not the one saying it. You know, birth tourism is illegal. You cannot come into the US trying to get citizenship for your child, all of that. So they want to make sure you actually can pay for your bill. So that statement is not really for B2 visitors, because for you, if you are coming in to deliver, they want to make sure you are paying out of pocket your own money, not using the taxpayers' money. So I go down this path just to explain to you that a lot of things may not mean what you think they mean. Sometimes there's a backstory. Sometimes you have to review laws within a context, right? So even if you think, sometimes I speak to people, they think they understood what they read. And when they tell me what they think they understood, I tell them, well, that's not what the law actually means. Here is what the law means, and here's the intent behind that law that kind of frames our interpretation of that law. Okay, so again, you might think you understand, but your understanding may be very limited when it comes to why a law is a certain way and why it's interpreted in a certain way and why it should not be interpreted for you in your peculiar situation, which is why it's very fundamental, very key. You have to make sure that if you are trying to file any type of immigrant visa application, you are out of status, contact me. I'm your girl. I can help you. Just make sure that we are putting you on the right path and you don't have any concerns. Okay, guys. So I'm still reading questions. Let me see on YouTube. Andrew Lopez says, my boyfriend bring me here, and after that, he used me as home servant and worked for him without paying his uncle business. Can I apply for TVs? I've been here for more than 15 years. I have 2 kids. That sounds like a potential T visa or a trafficking visa. People who are brought into the US and they are trafficked, sex or labor. You don't have papers. Someone is using you, letting you perform a lot of labor, because of your undocumented status. Please contact us and I can do a case evaluation and a screening for you to see if you qualify for a T non-immigrant status or a T visa. Okay, Andrew Lopez, we can help you with that. We've filed several T visas for our clients, and so we will be able to assist. Oh my gosh, what did I do? I don't know why I keep moving my Instagram. Now let me see if I can find something on Instagram. Someone says, can I come to America with my family? Of course you can. Come to America with your family. There's nothing holding you back. One of the great ways to come to America with your family is if you win the DV lottery, you can immigrate with your family. Everybody comes together, right? But it's become very crazy of late. The US Embassy there's a lot of backlog, so they're not conducting a lot of interviews for the visa lottery winners. So um so guys, there's a lot of questions. My husband is going to know. Okay, no, I read that question already. Brian DS1507 says, do you speak Spanish? Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish, but I have 3 Hispanics or people who speak Spanish on my team. So you are in completely safe hands once you come in. I have someone from Venezuela, I have someone from Mexico, and then I have someone from El Salvador. Those are all on my team, and so you'll be fine. We have Hispanics right here who work with us. So if you're a Spanish speaker, please contact us and we'll be able to assist you. Okay, now let me see if on TikTok, Chemix Tees on TikTok says, where you at? We're in Virginia. We're in Northern Virginia, in Manassas, Virginia. We're in Manassas, Virginia, but we represent immigrants in all 50 states throughout the US and around the world. So contact us, doesn't matter where you are based, but we're in Virginia. Just call us. Call us on our office line, 802-780-0564. It should be on all our social media pages. And guys, if you're already not following our pages, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that follow button across our social media pages so that you can get all our updates. Abdashiga Charles, thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words. You are the sweetest and the best. I hope you're doing great. Okay, which other question can I read? Let me read my final question and then I can hop off. I think we've had a wonderful discussion. Lori Tara on Instagram says, I'm a green card holder and I was denied Medicaid on grounds of citizenship requirements. I'm not sure what that means. Medicaid is means tested public benefit. So you have to meet the requirements to how much you are making, your income, then you qualify. I'm sorry, somebody on TikTok says, please, my question. I'm sorry, I didn't see your question. Dr. Mohammed Miniam, how can I add a child to an I-130 pending petition, US citizen to spouse? Please contact me and then we'll be able to help you. Don't try to take this. This is not social media, a social media or a TikTok question. Contact us so we'll help you do the right thing. You avoid delays. Guys, let me tell you, I spoke with someone recently, one of the one of the cases that we handled. Well, it was an initial case evaluation, and she made a certain mistake. I talked to several people with different case types. I cannot remember the details of the case, but they filed their case in 2019 and she had made some mistakes. The case, oh, okay, I've remembered now what happened. She's a Ghanaian in the US, filed for her mother an immigrant visa petition. She filed for her mother in 2019 before the COVID. 2023, her mother got called for an interview. This was just like last month. Her mother goes to the embassy, US embassy in Ghana, and her petition, the entire thing is denied because there were some issues. The mother had submitted, a previous application with somebody she had forgotten. When that happens, all is not lost. There are actually processes to try to overcome those situations, like a motion to reconsider or a motion to reopen an immigrant visa petition if you are able to overcome the grounds of refusal or denial. So we can work on that, but they were devastated. And sometimes, the unfortunate thing is that without doing that, the person is screwed because some people do not qualify for waivers. She had a misrepresentation bar. And if you have a misrepresentation bar, your daughter cannot be a qualifying relative to file a waiver based on the type of issue that she had. It's very highly complex, guys. So please make sure you work with an attorney. You cannot risk losing 5 years family separation only to go to be denied and you have to now start working all over again. It's very discouraging, very, very, very discouraging. So we are here to help you. Contact us if you need our help. Okay, guys? All right, fellas, it's been a pleasure hosting you in this live session. It's been very wonderful. I hope you've learned a lot. Don't forget to follow all our pages, share this video. An immigrant near you could benefit from these discussions. I am AK Poku, the immigrant lawyer, serving all 50 states around the US in their US immigration matters and worldwide as well. So if you have any US immigration problem, I should be the first name you think of. Okay, guys? And so I will tell you, I wish you a wonderful evening. Take care of yourself, work hard, stay safe, and be good. Bye.